Question: you mentioned a couple of times that we choose to be here to experience. Is it as simple as that? When we are disembodied, we decide to come back to experience something. I just can't imagine anybody choosing to come here unless they are to do it. Pleiadians, it is much more complex than merely coming here for the experience, although it is the experience that you are after. But it is not as if you are a soul roaming through the ethers with nothing to do and you decide, oh, I think it looks cozy down there. I think I'll make a hit on that world. It is not quite that simple. You are a portion of an energy of an oversoul. This great being travels for its own growth through planets, through existences that you do not even comprehend, through existences that in your terms are not real because you cannot see a physical world that they could exist on. But they exist. There are worlds that exist in empty space, so to speak, that make up shapes and colors and sounds, and they are quite legitimate, and you have experienced these worlds. In your roamings of being, in your decisions about where you want to go, it would be similar to getting in a car and having an unlimited bank account. In other words, you do not have to worry about how your travels would be financed. You could go wherever you chose. The only restriction is that if you are to travel the United States, you must complete the United States. You would have to go into each state and, perhaps, spend at least 1 week in each. When you have finished the journey, you may reflect back and say, there's further growth that I could do in the state of Minnesota. Before I leave this journey and go to Europe with my unlimited funds, it would behoove me if I explore this area. What is occurring on a planetary scale at this time is that all humanities, and none are exempt from this, are attempting to bridge the information that is available to them and bring it into their physical reality. You are attempting to understand and to remember and to perceive that you are a portion of a much larger entity and personality than you have previously thought that you are. When the Christed One said to you on your planet, you are not alone, that is what was being said to you. That is what was being triggered to be remembered. You are not alone. Not only are there those, as we represent, who come from the stars, there are those from other dimensions. It is your challenge to wake up to this, and to believe, if you so choose, in enhancing your lives with this information. For these entities are there to bridge worlds and to change the world. Question: is there a sensation of heaven and happily ever after? Pleiadians, if you so choose to believe there is, there will be. If you believe in heaven and if you believe upon your translation that you have been a most glorious being and that the pathway is at your feet, then, indeed, that will be your experience. You would create your version of heaven. You all, upon your translation, will create your version of what you think exists on the other side. The myth of heaven was to allow you to believe that something unknown could be a pleasant experience. Think on what we have been speaking of, for you are attempting to bring in much information, and whenever one is attempting to bring in new information, there is a reshuffling and a release of energy that no longer fits. Trust yourself and allow yourself to live in a world that is comfortable and safe and expansive and generous and loving and would give the greatest benefit to all. Make that the boundaries of your truth and your world, and you would have an easier time assimilating information. Question: do you have some practical suggestions on a day-to-day basis of how to maintain our centeredness? Apparently our objective is to maintain awareness of who we are, and in the chaos of goings-on, we seem to lose that little thread of remembering. Pleiadians, it is a portion of your challenge at this time. You forget who you are because it seems to you that it takes time to remember who you are. And it seems that you do not have enough time to bother with this all the time. And so you forget. You trick yourselves into thinking that you are not who you would like to be. It is a thought process. If you wish to maintain greater continuity of the enlightened self, the uplifted self, at different portions of your day, inject your thoughts with an empowering affirmation or statement about this continuity. You are complicated beings. We will give an example. You say, "All right, I'm on a new program now. Starting tomorrow morning I'm going to wake up and I'm going to make a statement to the world about who I would be, and then I would make the statement again at perhaps noon, and then perhaps again around sunset, and then once again before I go to bed. 4 times in one day. And you would do very well with this for 1 week or 10 days in your terms. On the 11th day, perhaps you would forget in the morning when you woke up to say it. Then you would be getting ready for work and you would say, "Oh, I didn't say this," and I'll say it very quickly. Then, at noontime you say, "Oh, gosh, I'm so busy I don't have time. Well, I'll say it later." Supper time comes and is gone and you haven't said it. Then you've gone to bed and you say, "Oh, well, I said it this morning, I'll say it later." It is so easy for you because of the distortion of the element that you call time that you allow to run your lives that you miss the essence of who you are. In the moment that you would take to say, "Oh, I don't have time now," or "I will say it later," you could have said it. It is that simplistic. It is not a paragraph that you must read about yourselves. It is not a major commitment in the element of what you call time. It is a feeling about who you are in the moment of your awareness of that being. And it is not something that you must continuously focus on, but it is something that you would intend to become a portion of your being. Just as sleeping and rising and eating are a portion of your being. You merely need to become aware and to nod your head in honor and saluting the self. The salutation to the self to become a glorious being. It is that simple. Done on a regular basis as a portion of yourself, it does not mean that your life indeed would be perfect. For, once again, we are saying to you that you are, all of you, on a roller coaster. There will be ups and downs. If you know that you are intending the honor and great development of yourself when you are going on these ups and downs, you will realize that this is a portion of the growth that you are asking for. It is your challenge to love yourself and not to be critical of the self, and to realize that you are designing experiences for your greatest need and growth. The world is a symbolic world and speaks to you. It is your challenge to understand what it is that you are telling yourself. If you have teddy bears dancing in front of you, we would say you are a most playful being. If you see boogeymen and dragons and lizard people, then we would say, "Goodness, what fear are you manifesting?" Now, we are being playful, but we are giving you examples because as humanities that is your way of learning. You like pictures and you like examples. You like to be able to formulate ideas within your mind and to compare. That is your way of learning. You do not at this time function through osmosis of learning. If that were the case, we would not have to say a word. We would merely implant you with energy, or attempt to implant you with energy. We have fed you much information and you have been absorbing it on many levels of being. Congratulate yourselves on the great beings that you are and that you are becoming. We would be speaking with you again. We bid you good evening. Copyrighted by Barbara Marciniak. Reprinted from Connecting Link magazine with permission. The newest messages from the Pleiadians you can find in the Pleiadian Times at http://pleiadians.com.